Hello, Muscle Nation. This is Myles Kellam, and I'm here with Soren Harrison. And today we're going to be talking to Soren about his business, which is FitDaddy365.com. As you can see from the background today, I am not in my studio, which is my kitchen. So you don't have to worry about seeing any food particles in my teeth or kids running around in the background. Although I will remind you, any type of fitness is 70% kitchen, 30% gym. I am sitting in the lounge at King Gym, and this is one of my favorite gyms in the world. It is owned and run by a buddy of mine, Brett Senecola, and it's absolutely phenomenal. If you're in the Philadelphia area and you want to stop by, please do. So, as we have been starting most of our videos, I'm going to start out by giving you my height and weight. As you know, I am in bulking mode. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to end up competing this year or not. I was ready to compete right before the pandemic locked everything down. I dropped my weight down to about 194. I'm now at 215, and I stand 5'10" in the morning. And I would estimate that my body fat percentage is probably somewhere around 8-9% right now. And if you're reading any of my articles, you'll note that my BMI, which I hate the measurement, my BMI is now somewhere around 30 to 31, which means that I'm obese according to my BMI, which, as you know from my article, it doesn't mean squat. Okay? It's just a number, and it's unfortunate that we even developed that number, but it actually goes to state, fitness in America in particular, where, so many people are not hitting the gym. They're not taking things seriously in terms of what they're putting in, what they're getting out of their bodies. So I'm going to start asking Soren some questions, but for anyone who is watching, as always, if you're here, you're one of us. So let's get going. All right, Soren. So give us a description. What is FitDaddy365?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Myles. Really appreciate it. I'm super pumped to be talking with you. So FitDaddy365, essentially what I do is help dads get lean, strong, and happy. And that's through coaching. And this is born out of my experience having kids. We've got 5 kids now.
Wow.
When my son was born, yeah, you made some big promises about not hearing any kids. We'll see. We'll see. But before my son was born, I was training and did a half Ironman, and was, in shape, loving it, feeling great. And essentially around the time that my son was born, I stopped training and I kept eating and I kept eating, and it was just I was doing a startup and working full time, son was born, eating a lot. And so I actually gained about 70 pounds of fat, essentially, in really fast in the course of a year. And it finally hit me when I went to pick up my son off the floor and my heart hurt. I didn't have a heart attack. I didn't go to the hospital, but I actually physically felt my heart hurt. Yeah. And that was the wake up call for me that I needed to figure something out. And so that really, I was active my whole life. I played sports growing up, baseball, basketball, water polo. I grew up surfing. I was always active, but that set me on a trajectory to figure this out with kids, right? Which is very different, very different. And so essentially it took me a while, but I went through a pretty difficult custody situation, and that gave me a heart to serve dads. And so FitDaddy365 is all about, hey, normal dad out there, how do we get you lean, strong, and happy? How do we get you investing in your health and fitness? So that's what it's all about.
That's fantastic. That's excellent. I have to hand it to you. Being able to do that with 2 kids is tough. With 5, I mean, that's astounding. Can I ask you what range of ages are your kids now?
Yeah, so we have 6, 7, 9, 11, and 13.
Oof.
So there's quite a range. The little ones tend to cluster, and the big ones tend to fight.
Yeah, exactly. So So give us a little bit of advice. Okay. Say you're talking with a new client and they want to get in shape. What is the very first thing that they need to do?
Yeah, so we actually go through what are called the FitDaddy fundamentals, and there's 7 of them, and this is a holistic thing. The first thing I recommend is actually tiny, and it's the first fundamental is move daily. It doesn't have to be, in fact, it's very small. It doesn't have to be some huge thing. It doesn't have to be a 2-hour killer workout that leaves you to where you can't move for the next week. It's actually, I call it the daily Kickstarter. Move every single day, right? It's small enough that you don't need recovery. You use it as a wedge into your schedule to say, I'm going to do this. It's non-negotiable. I can do it anywhere and I don't need any equipment, but I am going to move my body every day. And the purpose of that is that you get all of, you have this biochemical pharmacy available to you at all times. And that it's like a little point of leverage in your day. Start moving. Mm-hmm. And that's it, right? And it's typically the first thing people look to, like, what do I do? Do I go to the gym? Do I run? And so it gives you this little movement exercise that becomes a ritual in your life. And what that does is make space for you to start taking on the other fundamentals, for you to start getting into the gym or doing longer, more intense workouts. But it's really that fundamental: move daily.
That's fantastic. And it's amazing how sedentary so many of our lives happen to be.
Yeah.
And it's so unhealthy to sit for so long. Mm-hmm. I got in the habit of starting to stand while I work. My wife has a standing desk as well.
Nice. Yeah.
It's, just standing up instead of sitting down alleviates so many health problems.
Yeah. We were not built. We were not made to sit at a desk all day, right? This is a very new development, right? But historically speaking, we move around. We go get our food. We go run away from something. We go run after something. We don't just sit there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you mentioned having to move every day. That's number one. Mm-hmm. How do you go about doing that? I mean, is it enough to say, oh, well, I walked from my bed to the bathroom this morning to brush my teeth? Define a little bit more for us. What does it mean to move? And how do you ensure that you're doing it every day?
Yeah. So, what does it mean to move? I mean, for some people, that what you just described might be a huge step. And so I think it is in some ways a relative measure. Are you on the couch every day, all day? Are you in front of your computer every day, all day? Right? Then this 5-minute thing that I prescribe as the first step, that's actually a big deal, right? And most of where that's a big deal is here. You're making that commitment. I'm going to exercise. This is important enough to me that I'm going to do it every single day, and I'm not going to let something get in my way. And so the way I see it is you have to sort of trick yourself. You have to lower the bar to success to motivate yourself to do more. No one is going to transform their health and fitness simply by doing this 5-minute workout. It's not enough to really activate all of the different pieces, right? You got to adjust your nutrition. You got to adjust your sleep. You've got to watch your breathing, right? You've got to do strength training. But what it means to move in some sense is up here. That's how I would actually describe it. Are you taking that walk, right? Are you doing this 5-minute body weight thing? And are you committed to doing it even when it's not easy, even when you don't feel like it, even when you're sick? And my favorite, when the kids are jumping on your back, right? So it's really about that level of commitment. And we can debate all day about, well, is it HIIT? Is it enough to activate this? Is it that? Are your muscles really feeling it? But I think the first step is demonstrating that commitment and setting that foundation so that then, I spent an hour. It was amazing. It was leg day. I killed it, right? That comes next. And it can come sooner too, but it's really making space for it in your life. That's the important part.
Okay, so you ended up there, you brought up nutrition as well, and I want to talk a little bit about that. My eating is very different from most people's. I wouldn't expect that most people are going to eat the way that I do. The types of food, the frequency, the quantities, but I, like so many other dads out there, I end up being the human garbage disposal. There are scraps. My my 4-year-old will not eat the crust of her sandwich. Guess who does? This guy, right? We do those kind of things. Is it possible to do this alone without affecting the rest of the family, without affecting the kids? Do we want to?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. But part of the point is to teach our kids, right? Part of the point is to bring our partners, our family, our friends along for the ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think especially because socially there's so much wrong. I mean, we have guidelines from the government that are scientifically incorrect, right? And we're discovering like, hey, we've been doing this wrong for a long time. Can you do it in isolation? Yes. It's more challenging, right? It's much more challenging if it's not supportive, right? It can be easier because you're like, well, you guys can eat whatever you want and I'll eat this, right? Here's my meal plan. I'm sticking to it, which is terrific. That discipline is super important, but the challenge is a legacy challenge. How do we teach our kids, hey, this is unhealthy stuff. Hey, these are unhealthy habits. And hey, these are healthy habits. This is good for us to eat. And teach them to take some ownership over, good habits versus bad habits, and teach a little bit of exploration. I think that we've sort of advocated responsibility, and we just, the package says it's heart healthy. And so we just go with that instead of flipping it around, looking, asking someone, right? Asking for guidance, knowing for ourselves. So I'd say you can definitely do it without involving the family, but there's a massive opportunity to lead for your children that I think is important.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that teaching kids early, being able to position things correctly, one thing that I've caught myself doing or calling a dessert a treat, which basically says it's a reward to have something that's not healthy. And so I've tried to start kind of avoiding that type of language. But at the same time, I also don't want my kids to misinterpret the meaning. I don't want them to become obsessed with what they eat. I don't want them to be obsessed with their body in a way that could become negative.
Yeah, sure.
Eating disorders among both males and females it seems like it's gone up.
Yeah.
And how do you keep it positive?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make it inspirational?
Yeah, I mean, I think keeping it tied to healthy choices and the positive benefits as much as possible. And I think, in the fitness industry, the ads and everything's like, here's, get a six pack, be jacked, get a six pack. Nothing wrong with that at all. But it's missing the deeper level, right? It's missing, hey, be healthy, be energetic, be happy. Perform well at work, right? Be patient at home with the kids. And I think that focusing on the benefits and the science and the positive aspects of how it impacts all of your life, not just what your body looks like. I think that's the most important piece, right? And teaching that, your life improves when you're taking care of yourself, and that your mind is connected to your body and vice versa. And I think focusing on those is where the power is, essentially, and the longevity.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And it is the longevity, right? I mean, one of the main reasons to do this is so that we can be around with our kids longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, the pandemic. Yeah, this is for anyone who likes going to the gym. I mean, I think I hear more about the gym than I do about restaurants and bars, and a lot of times the focus of the news, which is great. Although I think if you actually looked at usage rates, most Americans are probably going out to restaurants and bars more than they're going out to the gym.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're involved in fitness another way.
Yeah.
How do we do this? How do we get fit during the pandemic when so many of us have either been in stay-at-home states or areas, and chances are we're going back into it if you're out?
Yeah. I think that it's tough because all of those natural boundaries, and the gym might be one of them for a lot of dads, right? Like, hey, actually, I go to the gym and I get a little bit of time, maybe away from work and away from family, and I can focus on me. And so there are these natural boundaries that now have exploded. They're gone, right? I don't go drive to the office. I don't go drive to the gym. The kids aren't doing extracurriculars. We're at home all the time, and there's no boundaries. So I think the big challenge, and I think health and fitness becomes even that much more important, right? It's stressful. Our immunity is being suppressed, right? Like, we actually need to have better immunity in the face of this. So I think the big thing is realizing, hey, I need to put a little structure here. Yeah. I need to make sure that I plan that time. And if I used to go to the gym after work, 5 to 6, or whatever it is, 4 to 5, I'm going to work out. And now it's different. Maybe it's a run, or maybe it's kids on the back. Maybe it's playing with the kids, right? I'm a big advocate of getting exercise with your kids, right? A young, healthy, strong body, they've got it dialed in for the most part, because they're running around, they're getting a little hit, right? Like a little hit workout. They're just going and going and going until they drop, right? So hang out with your kids, right? And that's a component of your metabolic boost, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, I remember when my older kid, who is now 8, I remember, like, you ever notice the delt development on little kids? It's like, why? It's because they have to reach up for everything. Everything is above them. Yeah. So they're constantly they're constantly doing a shoulder workout. And I was like, or the way they move around on the floor, I'll be 45 in less than a month. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, they're like, their burpee stamina, amazing. I'm like, oh, that's easy. What's so hard for you, Dad?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I would say boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Have a schedule for yourself. Determine if it's all together stuff, or, hey, I need this alone time, right? There's a component here of health and fitness that you might need that hour to go run, to lift weights in the garage, to ride your bike. You might need that to yourself, or you might need that time with your kids, and your kids might need that time with you. And it's an opportunity to teach them, to involve them, right? And to engage them. So I would say the first thing is figure out what you truly need, right? That you've got to be healthy and happy so that you can be healthy and happy with your kids, teach your kids how to be healthy and happy. And then after that, put some structure around it. And, I encourage, get the kids involved, right? This is an amazing moment where we stop and say, like, hey, how much have I been working? How much have I been at the gym? How much have I been with the kids or not, right? And we can sort of say, hey, how do I want my life to look? Yeah. So I think it's an opportunity for sure. A horrible situation and a really tough situation, but an opportunity.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, give us a little bit more information about FitDaddy365. How can people reach you? How do you work with clients?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, FitDaddy365. You can find me on LinkedIn, Soren Harrison. And if you want to work with me, we can you can email me, Soren@FitDaddy365.com. You can visit the website as well. But you can email me, you can set up a call. I really want to figure out, hey, can I help you, right? Is this, if I can help you or not? And I want to point dads to whatever resource is going to be the best for them. And so I have my coaching program, and if it's a right fit and I can help you, and you feel like I can help, if I can help you and you feel like it's a good fit for you, then absolutely join the coaching program. And that's the primary way that I help. You can see all my videos on Instagram. I made a New Year's resolution year before last to do that daily Kickstarter every day and post it. So I'm on day 560 something, and I won't stop till I drop. And so you can see that simple workout, right? It's free. You can go grab that, opt in. And so that's where you can find me. And I'm happy to help. I really have a heart to serve dads in particular. So just come get in contact with me.
That's fantastic. Well, Soren, thank you so much for joining us in Muscle Nation. And we'll be talking again very soon.
Yeah, I had a great time. I'll talk to you later.
All right, excellent.
Big Myles.
Bye.